Welcome to the video instructions for how to submit invoices within the Oracle Supplier Portal. We start on the standard Oracle sign-in screen, and we use the user ID, the email address that you signed up with, and the password that you've set. We'll go ahead and click Sign In, and this will take us to our Supplier Portal. On this screen, we go over to the left-hand side to the Tasks menu. We go down to the section with the heading Invoices and Payments, and we click on Create Invoice. This takes us to the one-page screen where you will create your entire invoice. So you won't be navigating through multiple menus here. You'll be filling this screen out just like a form, and then when we're finished, we'll be hitting the Submit button. The first step is to identify the PO that we're going to be invoicing against. So you can type this in manually, but you can also click this drop-down menu, see all of the POs that you have available, and select the one that you want. Notice that your information will populate here. You won't need to type in supplier site or address or taxpayer ID. All of that will auto-populate based on who you're logged in as and the identifying PO that you select. Next, we're going to go over to Remit to Bank Account, and we're going to select the right bank account to receive payment. In this case, our supplier only has one bank account. If you have more than one, you'll have to make sure to select the correct one. And again, this happens via the dropdown. You don't need to know your number off the top of your head. You'll just select from the dropdown. Next, we'll enter the invoice number. This is going to be the number that your business uses for invoicing. So it could be a combination of numbers and letters. It could be INV 123. It could be 1234556. It could be 12-34. Whatever system you use, whatever number appears on your invoice is the number to put here, because you're going to be the one using this to track which invoices have been submitted. So we'll say, just for the sake of example, this is going to be invoice 123321. And now we'll enter a date. For the date, you should enter the date of the invoice itself, not today's date. So today is the 11th, but let's say that we created this invoice back on the 6th. We're invoicing for work done on the 6th. We're going to select 10/6 as our invoicing date. And now we go down into the middle to description, and we're going to just put a very basic description of what we're invoicing for. Let's just call this cleaning services. And we're going to, very importantly, attach the invoice itself. You'll do that using this plus sign. This none tells us that right now there are no attachments, but we'll click this plus sign and it'll open up a box that looks like this. Everything on this box is preset correctly. All you need to do is click Choose File and pick a file from your computer. I'll just pick a random Word document here. And what you'll notice is that the file name appears here and as the title. You can change the title or add a description if you want, but you certainly don't have to. Once you're comfortable with what's there, you'll click OK. And now you'll see that your attachment is here. If you need to change this, if you need to delete it, you can click the X. If you need to add something else, you could click the plus sign. But normally you'll have one invoice here. Now it's time to go down to the lines section. Now the lines section is where we're actually going to specify how much you're invoicing. So under the lines section, you've got this series of buttons, and it's very important to click on this one. That's the page with the plus sign. It says select and add. It is different from the plus sign. It's going to be the easiest to click select and add. So we're going to click that icon. And notice that your purchase order number appears. This is the same as the identifying PO that you selected. And here is your purchase order with some details, how many lines it has, how many schedules it has, shipped to location, etc. We're not going to click on the link here. We're going to click just to the left so that the entire line turns blue. You'll see this black arrow, you'll click, and the entire line is turned to pale blue. Now we're going to click apply. And then we're going to click OK. And that adds this invoice line to the line section. Next, we're going to use this scroll bar. I'm going to click and drag to get all the way over to the right side of the page where you see amount and description. Now, this amount is really important because this is where you specify how much you're invoicing for. This should be reflected on your invoice, and it's critical that your invoice amount and the amount you enter here match. The default amount will always be the total amount of money remaining on the PO. So for this example PO, we've only got 91 cents left. If you're trying to invoice for the full 91 cents, you can just leave this at 0.91 and click submit. But if you're going to be invoicing for less than the total amount, and I recognize that that's not likely if it's 91 cents, but if it were $91,000, it might be. So if you're going to invoice for less, all you have to do is type over this amount. So let's say we're going to invoice for 11 cents. So I'm going to type 0.11. I'm going to click in this blank space above amount just to get out of this field. And what you'll see is that the bold total amount has now updated to reflect the amount that I put in. If I put in 13 cents instead, it would update to 13 cents. Once this amount is correct, you are ready to submit your invoice. So just go up to the top right here and click submit. You'll get this white banner at the top that says your invoice has been submitted. And to exit this page, you'll just click the done button. Now, if you want to view invoices that you've submitted, which you might want to do after submitting, you'll start the exact same way from the supplier portal. You'll go to the invoices and payments header, but this time you'll go to view invoices instead of create. Find the field that says supplier, click the drop down and select the name of your supplier. In this case, this is called test supplier, but you'll see your business name there. And then click search. And what you'll see is invoices that you have submitted. In this case, we find invoice 123321. The invoice date is on 10/6. It'll be in order of invoice date, not submission date. And it'll show us some basic information about which purchase order it was, what the invoice amount was, and so on and so forth. So this is how you can double check to make sure that your invoice has been submitted. To exit this screen, you can also click done, and you're back at the supplier portal. Thanks so much and happy invoicing.